Have you ever wondered why traffic accidents are on the rise? Dangerous situations are lurking every day, ready to explode at any moment. With real videos recorded by dash cams, you will immediately feel the danger in every moment. Just one click, and you will be able to explore with us. Let's become smarter drivers together and learn valuable lessons to avoid unfortunate accidents.
Positive results should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. All that is not a
Perhaps because his mind was somewhere else, he lost control and drove onto the grass by the roadside. Drivers need to concentrate, not daydream. Stay focused when driving to avoid unfortunate accidents. While driving on the road, he suddenly felt a strong collision from behind. The container truck was too close, and the collision made him jump. When the white car suddenly braked because there were a few cars parked in front, he almost crashed into it. Fortunately, his steering was steady, and with a skillful turn, he avoided the accident. Always maintain a safe distance from the car in front to avoid unexpected situations and sudden braking. On the road full of traffic signs, the police car was sitting on the side of the road, a living testament to obeying the law. A moment of inattention and your car could be there. Always stay alert and pay attention to the signs.
Police officers, and the other one, younger, and they also ICM, it's out here in Hollywood as well.
It was pouring rain, the road was slippery, and visibility was poor, yet he drove as if the road was his own. As a result, he lightly hit several parked cars in front of him. The lesson here? In bad weather, drive slowly and pay attention. Nothing is more valuable than safety. The car overtook him, getting so close that it looked like something big was about to happen, but luckily it was just a minor collision. Both sides narrowly escaped. He was driving down the road, his eyes began to droop, and before he knew it, the car had lurched off the road, hurtling straight into the grass field next to him, flipping over like in a slow-motion movie. The crate was looming in the middle of the road, as if by a trick of fate, causing him and another car to lightly touch it. Luckily, no serious collision occurred. The car slowly passed the intersection, even though the red light was on. The driver seemed to be in a short nap, not realizing that the truck was coming, and the collision happened in the blink of an eye.
Along with two staffers and another person in a two-car crash in her district. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita got...
As he entered the narrow road with traffic cones, a car from the opposite direction passed by, the two sides lightly touching like a gentle touch. Slow down, and if the road is too narrow, stop to give way. Always keep a safe distance and carefully observe the surrounding traffic situation. A little hesitation can save you from unwanted collisions. When the petrol tanker, like an arrogant racer, suddenly encroached on the man's lane, the result was a light collision, like an unexpected pat on the shoulder. He was driving, taking the opportunity to throw the car like a dancing star on the highway until it couldn't take the passion and crashed into the curb. Fortunately, no one was injured. While his car was going straight, a collision with the edge of the road made everything shake like in the movies. Fortunately, he only needed a moment to calm down and continued as if nothing had happened. The car was slowly driving on the road like it was going for a Sunday morning stroll when it suddenly slammed on the brakes, causing the driver of the car behind to frantically brake, not knowing if it was an accident waiting to happen or just a joke. He was driving when suddenly another car passed in front of him, swerving as if he didn't care about anyone around him. That car then hugged the curb, making things tense. Always keep a safe distance and look around to avoid similar situations. The petrol truck drove in the opposite direction, almost hitting his car. Luckily, everyone was safe. He seemed to be in a race with himself. Only when the car in front stopped did he realize this was not a speed race. Brake hard, there wasn't enough time, and so the front of his car passionately hugged the back of the other car. He kept driving as if there was no car in front of him, and then what had to happen happened. His car crashed into the back of the car in front. The lesson here is to always keep a safe distance to avoid unnecessary collisions. The car in front of him was moving slowly along the side of the road when suddenly, without warning, it swerved into his lane like a cat suddenly changing direction. The result? A light bump to the back of the car, leaving him unable to avoid it. At night, distinguishing between a parked car and the darkness was a challenge. Michael absent-mindedly crashed into a parked car as if it were a bean bag. Although there was no serious damage, he realized that he needed to improve his night vision and maybe add a few reflectors to help. As the car shook like a puppet show, he just chuckled at the thought of being lost in the world of reckless automobiles. Fortunately, he was fine, as if he had just returned from a humorous adventure. The truck was speeding down the road when the front axle suddenly broke, sending it lurching violently. Fortunately, the driver reacted in time, keeping the car from going off the road. Always check the condition of the car carefully before starting off, especially important parts such as the axles. The tiny raindrops were like troublemakers, blurring his vision, and his car rushed into the roadside like an uncoordinated chorus. When it rained, he slowed down and made sure the wipers were working properly to keep his vision clear. When the road was dark like a nightmare, he suddenly hit the roadside, and the car flipped over like an abandoned toy. In poor light conditions, slow down to increase his ability to observe and react. When the line of cars in front stopped, he, with only minimal attention, almost crashed into the car in front. Fortunately, he narrowly avoided it. While he was engrossed in checking to see if he stood out more than his green shirt, a car suddenly swerved into the road. The inevitable collision sent the car he had hit plunging into the rice field, creating an unbelievable scene. In the masquerade-like traffic jam, he had managed to turn the front of the car into a dented work of art. What a great way to end a chaotic day.